Hi everyone, my name's Nadina and I'm going to do a video on how to spot a narcissist quickly. One of the problems with narcissists, which I'm sure you're already familiar with them if you're watching this video, is that they can be very covert in their actions. It can be very hard to spot them until it's too late, until you're really deeply entangled with them and they're in the midst of destroying your life or your career or whatever it is they feel like destroying on you. So if we can learn to spot them quickly and early on, we can save ourselves a lot of pain and a lot of heartache and hopefully get out of their presence unscathed. One of the things I've noticed with narcissists is they're almost always very, very charming. To me, that's the number one red flag with a narcissist. It's just something about the way they come across. They put people at ease. The conversation flows. It's a very kind of a smooth charm that leaves people kind of coming away thinking like, oh wow, what a great person. Like this person's really cool. I've noticed that pretty much with all narcissists I've met, unless they're really, really overt, which in my experience, those ones tend to be rarer. The covert ones, they put on a really good front. They come across well, they come across as amiable, as personable, and likable. You know, they're usually quite outgoing, friendly, talkative. And what I've come to learn in all my years of dealing with narcissists is that this is a massive red flag. This is not the same kind of charm as just meeting someone who's nice. There's something in your gut that tells you that it's not right, that there's something up, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And I would say to listen to that gut instinct. It's your intuition telling you that there's something up. It's actually, when we get a warning from our gut, it's actually our subconscious remembering incidences in the past that our conscious mind doesn't have the time or the energy to process in real time. So that gut instinct is not something to be ignored. It's our inbuilt warning signal for when there's danger around, because in our previous experiences, we've met these types of people before and we've experienced the damage they do when they target us. So our mind and our body remember that. So we really need to take heed when we get a bad vibe from someone or we just feel like there's something not right. It's because there's something not right. Also, be very careful if they want to focus all the attention on you. Narcissists like to evaluate the situation very quickly and evaluate you. They want to know who you are, if you're worth anything to them, because in a narcissist's mind, they're there to extract. They're only interested in people they can get stuff from. I've heard narcissists say this themselves, that they don't get involved with anyone who can't provide them something. They're there for a reason. They're there to extract and to get something from the person. If you don't have something to offer them, they're not interested. So what you'll find is very early on, they are digging for information about you. They're asking you a lot of questions, focusing on you all the time. They want to know everything about you because in their mind, they're evaluating whether you're worth the time and the energy to extract from further down the line. So be wary if somebody is, almost interrogating you. It can feel like when a narcissist has singled you out or targeted you as a potential victim or potential next source of supply, it feels like an interrogation. They will ask you everything under the sun. And you'll notice that if you try and ask them things back, a lot of the times they'll get quite defensive. They don't want to answer the same questions that they're asking you, which is a big red flag. In a normal, healthy conversational flow, the conversation goes back and forth. It's not all directed at one person. It's not all about finding out who that person is or what they have or what they can offer you. So be wary of that. Be wary if they're not willing to reciprocate. Again, this is not an exact science. You have to use your own judgment and you have to look for patterns of behavior. Just because one person asks you a bunch of questions one time doesn't necessarily mean they're a narcissist. But it is something to bear in mind if you see the pattern repeating and it adds up with other red flags that you also see in the person. Always bear in mind that when you're dealing with a narcissist, you want to look for a cluster of behaviors together, not just one or two things. It's those clusters of red flags and behaviors that will lead you to form your decision about them. So always take in the overall picture of the person you're dealing with. You can't just dismiss a person based on one red flag or one thing that didn't sit right with you. Also, another massive red flag is the sob stories. They almost always come out with some kind of sob story about how someone did them wrong, so and so cheated on them, and poor me. There's always, they look for people. They look for people who are empathic and people who are going to feel sorry for them, and they gauge you by that too. A lot of times they will tell you a sub story to gauge how empathic you are and how receptive you are to their BS, basically. If they see that, you're taken aback by their story or you're sympathetic towards them, in their mind, that's a green light to further target you, because now they realize that you're the type of person that's tolerant, empathic, and that you're going to put up with bad behavior in the future. So they're scanning you for these things when they meet you, and you have to be aware of that. When they come out with their sob stories, that's massive. That's a big red flag. Normal people don't go around trying to gain sympathy from people they've just met. They don't vomit their life story at random people that they've just met. Most people don't want sympathy. They want to move on with their lives. If somebody is giving you a sob story right off the bat, be careful. Another big red flag is them trying to rush intimacy. If it's someone you've met in a romantic sense, a potential date, a partner, a lot of the times they will want to try and hook you in as quickly as possible. They're going to love bomb you. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. They're going to try and get you into bed as quickly as possible because they want to hook you before you realize what you're dealing with. A normal, healthy person will want to take things slow because they should be wary of you too. It shouldn't just be a one-sided thing. Normal, healthy people take their time getting to know others. They don't want to rush it because none of us want to be hurt at the end of the day. It doesn't make sense to rush into something if you want a genuine connection with someone, a genuine, long-lasting relationship. Why would you rush into it? So if somebody's rushing intimacy and insisting on it and maybe gaslighting you and telling you that, you're being silly for like wanting to hold back, again, another red flag to take stock of. Generally, when it comes to dealing with a covert narcissist, you'll realize, your gut will tell you something's not right. You'll realize there's something off with them. Their charm will seem superficial. It just won't feel real. Something will be off with it. You'll know deep down inside, and I would say listen to that voice. If you see these red flags or you suspect something, just take a step back. Take a step back, slow things down. Somebody who genuinely likes you or wants a real friendship or connection with you or a relationship will happily give you that time to step back and process. Real relationships, friendships, they don't happen overnight. It's just not really very authentic when people try and push it in that way. Yeah, so to sum up, really it's about learning about the different toxic behaviors and the red flags so that the next time one of them crops up, you spot it much quicker than you did before. Once you learn to recognize these things, you realize that they're actually not that hard to spot. And the main thing, as I said before, is trusting your gut and believing that. If you trust your gut, you can't go wrong. And also remember that when you meet someone new, if you're not sure about them, you don't have to trust them straight away. Trust is not a given. It's supposed to be earned. And I actually used to think the opposite way. I used to trust people until they proved me otherwise, which set me up for failure so many times. Actually, the person needs to earn your trust. You get to know them little by little, and then if they're worthy of being in your life and having your trust, then you start giving it to them piece by piece. But never feel you need to trust someone just off the bat. Unfortunately, that's how we get hurt. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.